Welcome, welcome, crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes. Whoever may be listening beyond the tonight, secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, June 15th. Sunday, June 16th, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. And thank you so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. If you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us on KPNL Radio, which you can find at KPNL Radio at kpnl-d tv.com, as well as eTalk Radio, which you can find at etalk.tv/radio, as well as Spreaker.com, Paradox Media. If you like to watch as well as listen, we are on YouTube under We Are Paradox Media, as well as Twitch. And I think over there it's either We Are Paradox Media or Paradox Media 101. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that again. I wonder if I can look at it right now. What does it say? No, it's We Are Paradox Media, just one word. So, yay! Sorry about the slow start here. I didn't have enough time freed up, so I wasn't able to get directly on. Also, I've been trying to get the sound worked out, so I got the voice worked out pretty good. But as far as music and stuff goes, I've noticed that it's a bit odd. Like, it doesn't quite work how it should, so I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, I've been trying to work that out, what exactly is going on with that, because I listened to it on Facebook at the beginning, and the intro music is just, like I said, off. It's lacking. So I'm not too happy with that, but working on it. So, as we don't have a guest this evening, you guys are stuck with me once again. So I figured we'd do some crazy TikToks if you guys are down. Also, if you have any TikToks you'd like to share with me to share the show on air, go ahead and send those to weareparadoxmedia@gmail.com, as well as any comments, complaints, or any guests that you'd like to have me try to get on, and I will try my best to do so. So let's get on with it. Also, if you can hear my fan, let me know. It's a bit janky, so I don't know, maybe I could turn it down. Oh, that is down. Up. Oh my. Yeah, we'll just keep it on the low. Yeah, I really get a new fan. I can't find another clip-on fan, and I don't really have room in here to use like a sitting fan. And maybe I'll have to hang something or something. I don't know. Especially since the light's no longer working in here. And I think I'm just going to have to turn this off and bear the heat. It has been kind of a bit cooler the last days due to the rain. But, yeah, can't complain. It's hotter in other places, so. Oh, I think I have to reshare that screen. Yeah, since I went out of this screen and went back to home screen to delete some shows, so I had space, I think it got rid of my shared screen, which it did. All right, let's go ahead and share that right there. Get back on over here. Make sure the sound is set. All right, let's go. So this first one is talking about where we left off on the last one as 63 American banks that are on the brink of basically collapse. All right, you guys ready? Let's do it.
Quarter alone, there were 63 banks in total. First quarter of 2024 that are on the brink of collapse. This is way bigger than '08. This is multiple things causing the crash that's coming. It'll crash the stock market, the housing market, the automotive market, probably the insurance market. This is gonna kill corporations. It's gonna be. Imagine what the Depression was like. Now think 10 times worse. That's what's coming. That's what we're facing. And it was by design. By design. They want to keep power. They're willing to crash everything in order to keep that power. That's what we're going to be living through. There's no way around it. It's all going to happen, in my opinion, before we get to November. There's just so much news dropping, and it's not positive. So it's better to be prepared. And my message is, from the heart, don't have fear. Fear is what they want you to have. Be prepared. Let's unite. Let's come together. There's people, I think there's, every time I post something, the left comes out and says some of the nastiest things. And all I say, thanks for sharing, because I don't even have the energy to have that fight anymore. That was 2020. That was 2018, 2020. I had those fights. I lost all those accounts. I'm not doing that again. Thanks for sharing. If you come to my post, thanks for sharing. I'm just trying to help people who are not aware of what's going on. That's it. If you're not aware, in the first...
Right. So I had something like that happen last weekend too, not as far as like what he's talking about with the bank collapse and stuff, but hackers, people coming into your chat room and saying, hey, we're going to shut down your account, we're going to shut down your page because you violated these terms and conditions, etc., etc. You have 24 hours in order to fix this, or we're shutting you down. And I think I had at least 150 of those different messages from supposed people that worked for Facebook, and it was just a bunch of BS-ery. But yes, I've heard about this bank collapse, as we did last weekend, but from several different people. Oh no. I forgot to turn off my boomer. Lord. I wonder if I could mute that. No, stop it. No, I don't want to do any of that. Notifications and sounds, mute. For, let's go ahead and say 8 hours. I'll go in after the show and fix that because I really love these peeps in this room. But not now. That always happens when I'm doing my show. Anyways, about worse than the Great Depression. I've heard that as well. The Great Depression is bad. I think he said 6 times worse. I've heard 10 times worse. Like it's going to be really, really bad because a lot of us aren't farmers anymore. A lot of us have moved on to regular jobs. So it's going to be quite different and quite scary. Let me really quick if I could go ahead and turn the volume up on this a bit. Turn it up. All right. Make it bigger. All right. On to the next.
And I think it's time to start right at the very beginning. Does $1 times $1 equal $1? Or does $1 times $1 equal $2? I have never seen anywhere in the universe where an action times an action doesn't have a reaction. So now that's why we need to discuss this and examine it and how they come up with this strange number that, which is illogical because an area, times a length has to have an area. So you can't have a length times 1 having equaling 1 because now what happened to the length times the length? The area is no longer in existence. And I think it's time to start right at the very beginning.
Okay, so I saw somebody else share this. I believe Penguin, Critical Moist. I'm trying to remember what his page is called, but he was irate about this, talking about, okay, you have a water bottle, one water in a box. That's one. That's one water bottle. But I have heard this guy, Howard, I can't remember what his first name is. What is it again?
$1 times $1 equals
Howard something. Anyways, yeah. A lot of things that he does talk about are really mind-blowing and make a lot of sense as far as this goes. It doesn't a lot of sense to me. I thought that was funny.
I will wait. I will wait.
Okay, that's it. 2024 is broken. It's broken.
Crazy.
What is this? Probably 2 or 3 people caught this with video evidence in the sky.
So
Allegedly,
weird.
it's a flying humanoid. And it moves. I'm about to show you in a minute who got it with the telescope.
Yeah, it's like a circular thing.
Y'all can't tell me it's not real. 2 or 3 eyewitnesses, at least, that were in.
Low. Yeah, I'm re-kidding. Refocusing. Okay, you're low. Top and like. Oh, what?
I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, okay?
Okay, go for it. You're high. Oh, this one's amazing. Okay, refocus. He's freaking moving.
Are you serious? Is it
Freaking
moving? Yeah,
Yeah, like arms are moving.
Arms are moving.
Yeah, you're almost center.
Yeah, right now it's good in the middle.
You're right. Okay, center.
And videos are just now starting to come out. So you know there's going to be many more. Things have not been normal since the 8th of April. I know it, you know it, don't lie. And right here you can clearly see it moving around. Look at the light pulsating from it. There's like a heavy light pulsating from this thing. It's changing colors. It's almost like in and out of this dimension over and over again. What is that?
Hard to say. It does look
Like
humanoid.
a person almost.
Ever since the
Looks like a
8th.
person almost.
Peter Higgs, what did you do? You did something. I got videos from Think Tank over on Twitter, so check them out. Oh, and by the way,
Thanks,
we
Think
had
Tank.
another massive casualty event this time. And I'm telling you, people are acting strange. There are multiple cops that were wounded so far. Okay, that's it.
So like you said, since April 8th, since the solar eclipse, been a lot of weird things. Tons of UFO sightings. Sightings of a second sun, which I think that has been going on for quite a while. People have been talking about the planet Nibiru. But then there's pictures, like actual pictures of a second sun, or what looks like a sun. Pretty crazy. Whales and dolphins beaching themselves. And people talking about that anomaly in the ocean that they first said was a glitch, but apparently is not, due to all the evidence that we've seen, is not a glitch. Some people are saying it's a sea monster, and that's why all these dolphins and whales are beaching themselves. One lady that had witnessed this said that it sounded like they were screaming for help. Like she hasn't been able to sleep because they're just out there screaming for help. It's pretty crazy.
The devil saw me with my head down and thought me blind, until I said, Amen. The devil saw me.
Hey, to the rest of this, I don't like the texture. It's a strawberry milkshake.
Okay.
All the chicken and stuff are out.
Yeah.
Okay. Who make it? I'm grabbing Bean and heading back out, but I'll probably come by tomorrow since it's Father's Day and stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Love you too.
You look very pretty.
Thank you.
Oh. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
That was my daughter, Nose. I haven't seen her in a couple weeks. All right. Found something weird with the blob in the future. What?
Y'all have been asking about the blob. I went really deep into it. Here's what I found. This is Brazil right now. So yet again, on the 6th of May, we had this anomaly. This is the 3rd time we've had this anomaly. And it's always coming from the same exact place. But I found something really freaky I'll show you in just a little bit. But you can actually see in this map how it's dispersed waves this way or what makes the radar appear to be waves, Cape Town and all these things. Now, there's a lot of boats going up and down that route, and they aren't seeing anything. So last night, I took a trip on Google Earth to the island where all this stuff is originating. Look at this right here. It looks like two doorways. That does not look like natural. So I'm sitting here wondering, is this island really like a hollowed out piece of land where things are happening on the inside of it? By the way, if you want to look at it, this island is called Bouvet Island, and it's a super remote island close to Antarctica. Now check this out. This is where the blobs are originating. I'm about to show you what really that comes from somewhere else in a minute, but notice how it goes up. What's this right here? This is Brazil. This is Brazil right now.
Wow.
This is also Brazil right now. This is also Brazil right now. Yeah, that's a horse on the roof. Now, Brazil is under some of the worst flooding in history, but we can see some of it started in the 8th of April. When the blob brought mainstream attention. But now we have this May 6th blob, and we can see all this destruction in Brazil. And right now, Brazil is going to get a whole lot worse. So with these anomalies being shown, I was like, well, what's going to happen according to their model in the future? Oh my goodness. On the 12th, we are seeing this. Look at these waves. 50, 60, 80, 70, coming right from Antarctica, near where that island is, but straight up coming right off the coast of Antarctica. Why is it called this? Look at this. 80 foot, 90 foot. This is unheard of. To me, this has to be frequency. Boom. Just like that. Gone. Gone. Just like that. It goes from this to boom. Gone. That's not normal. That's not how things dissipate. My opinion is I believe these blobs are frequency and energy. Because the boat's seeing them, but we are seeing natural disasters on the areas and the waves pointing towards where they're going. I also put on satellite layer, weather layer, and temperature layer, and none of them picked up anything while this or the other one was going on. So mark down May 12th on your calendar and let's see what happens. Y'all have been asked.
Too late for that one. But yeah, definitely. I think after next break, I'm going to show the videos that I did find about these poor little dolphins and whales, and some speculation on that. The biggest demon to exist.
My wife was just oppressed by the biggest demon that exists, and I have a picture to prove it of it inside of her body. I need y'all to hear this. It is the most important thing I've ever put on this page. I'll show you the demon very soon, but first let me break this down for you. 2 weeks ago, my wife got deathly ill out of nowhere. She was passing out, going unconscious randomly, and constantly falling on her face on the floor. The same exact time, she was having severe pain from her brain to her feet, legs going numb, arm going numb, and stabbing pains all throughout her spine. She was disabled overnight. Now, this story is absolutely crazy. It has to do with prophecy, demons, healing, and deliverance. So let's go back to March 7th. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. We just got from the hospital, and I was praying. And all of a sudden, an image of this girl I know who is a prophet showed up on my mind. So I texted her, just to make sure everything was okay her way. Little did I know, this was God's plan. Right here, when I started to get crazy. But we talked a little bit in the morning, and then later in the day, I was in the kitchen praying to God for revelation. Then the thought of prophet came to mind. Then she popped up again. I go back to my phone. While I was praying, she texted this. As I was praying, the Lord said, she is unforgiveness. I will show her if she asks me. And I replied, telling her I was praying for a revelation. She popped up and she messaged at the same exact time. The unforgiveness part is absolutely insane, but we'll get to that. So now, when me and her woke up that morning, I just felt a strong sense of witchcraft. I'm like, it has to be witchcraft. This is absolutely crazy. A few minutes later, she said, the word that came to my mind when I asked the Lord why, he put on my heart was protection. I asked for the Lord said witchcraft, and there's a lot of curses being thrown at you. I'm getting ready to show you the picture of the most powerful demon that exists that was living on her brainstem. Remember, unforgiveness.
What?
So I made my go pray for 30 minutes to an hour. I said, you need to find out who you have unforgiveness for. just like the prophet said. Tell your wife to ask me, God, and I will tell her. She got in the prayer, asked God. God responded, you never forgave me for taking your son.
That's sad.
Y'all, that's the biggest scenario of unforgiveness I can even fathom. And those witches found a loophole. They were not able to cast a spell on me because of my protection of the Lord, but the loophole.
Okay, so that to me is interesting. I do know that holding hate in your heart and resentment, etc., is toxic. It can cause cancer, other things like that. I don't know about the whole witchcraft thing. Like, I do believe in witchcraft, but I don't believe that those two things are connected. All right, let's see what this one is.
How could anyone in their right mind? How could? So tomorrow is June 6th, and Ryan Garcia is doubling down. But this gets really weird. But first, when an earthquake happens tomorrow in LA and Vegas, I don't want to hear anyone speak. The Lord Jesus Christ is the King of Kings. So he's saying it's going to happen, right? I've been noticing some very weird things. First, Starship 4 received approval for launch on June 6th. So Elon's fourth flight will be tomorrow, the same day that Ryan Garcia said that there would be an alleged earthquake. It gets so much weirder though. By the way, don't forget all the activity during the eclipse on the 8th with, I believe it was NASA. Guess who's back? The Devil's Comet. And this time it's going to make its closest approach to Earth this Sunday. Now remember, its last appearance was on April 8th during the eclipse. I even got pictures of it. And now we're about to see it again this Sunday, its closest time yet, the Devil's Comet. And remember, how could anyone in their right mind deny the two suns?
We're out of date.
Have some silly scientific explanation
So I gotta do these things right away.
So. But what they say makes no sense. Find more sense in the pocket of a homeless person than scientific method. So check out these two suns. And no, it's not a lens flare. If you notice, the lens flare has two lens flares, which means there's two objects in the sky.
4. Good thing causing that. What the hell? Crazy.
Just that, we are seeing something bigger. This is not two suns. We are seeing a sun, and we are seeing an alternate dimension. This dimension is being summoned here by CERN. It's going to be the gateway through which the locusts get out of the bottomless pit. You know, Nibiru, Planet X, the Red Dragon, they're all the same thing. It's an alternate dimension. It's hell. It's hell, but it's a dimension of hell. You know, hell is below our feet, but there has to be a portal for hell. The key to the bottomless pit is being activated by CERN, which is bringing this alternate dimension. And this alternate dimension is going to cross into our dimension, and we are going to be plagued with demons. And it's not even as if we don't have plenty already. You know, these things that they're putting everywhere, I'm not going to say what they are, these things they're putting everywhere, right? Well, these things are sending signals to our brain constantly. Is that not fallen angel technology? Making us depressed, sick, scared, anxiety, everything you can think of they are doing to us through these towers. And don't even get me started on the other thing they did 2 years before that. They lined it up at the same time, and there's a reason for it, because it's ingredients in something. And those ingredients act as an antenna, and they attract. Do you remember the Travis Scott concert, right? That was a trial. That was like a test to see what would happen. So one of these things, they put the thing I can't say, rhymes with mapping monoxide, right? And what this does is it puts your brain in a post-PTSD state. Meaning, you are more likely to take orders from any authority at all. Not only that, but it also, when it concentrates in your blood and in your brain, it sets you up to where you are highly receptive to any signal they send to you. Which is why the city put on their website about the zombies. They are in the process of making zombies. Those who live, at least. It's truly shocking to me, the amount of people who deny that we are in a relations. It is shocking to me that they deny it. It's everywhere. I mean, since 2019, I'm 19, 2000.
Weird, two sons, CERN, all that stuff. It's weird that CERN was doing an experiment the same day as the solar eclipse. So many things happening after that, in line with that. I don't know. Also, what's weird, did you notice how his voice changed? Like the sound changed at the end of that video? That was weird.
It's time to sound the alarm. We've been distracted. Guys, I'm not playing, and this is not a drill. It's time to start preparing food, water, etc. Sources say China will invade Taiwan.
So, anything about China doing that, but I did hear Russia is right off the coast here. They're in Cuba. Interesting, they're letting people go on their ship and kind of doing tours and little field trips and stuff, but yeah, things are just getting really, really weird.
Taiwan in early June, and it gets much worse than this. And global press is a very trusted source. Now, the insane part, early June, probably sooner. Right this minute, China literally has Taiwan completely surrounded in the Taiwanese Strait and the Pacific Ocean. Again, completely surrounded. This is both military boats and military planes. Why? Well, this screenshot alleges serving as punishment for the separate act of Taiwan. Punishment. And also warning of interference, provocation by external forces like us. But wait, that's not all. We literally have a standoff happening right now between Taiwan and China. No wonder for the king's portrait and the crap. Sense now, right? Get ready. It's time to sound the alarm.
I also had firing rockets over Taiwan, testing rockets, and that generally anyone is violating airspace, but China thinks that they own Taiwan still, so there's that. No.
Does anyone want to explain?
What if the Tower of...
Okay.
Does anyone want to explain to me why we ceased to exist for 1 hour a few nights ago? Yes, you heard me right. Reality ceased to exist for an hour. That's not all, but we'll get to it. This is the Schumann frequency. It's the resonant at what the Earth rates at. I've been tracking it for years. It keeps up with the frequency of the Earth. Now, as we got closer to the end, and even closer to this eclipse, we've had massive jumps in the Schumann frequency. And last week with the Schumann frequency, we had the highest on the charts ever. It'll make you feel tired, zoned out, foggy-headed, even out of body and can't sleep, as our body resonates with the vibration of the Earth. Very similar to how we made anti-gravity machines. The bumblebee is not able to fly with its wings. It weighs too much. But it actually flies by matching the resonance of the air by its wings and the vibration. Google it. Back to the topic. So the eclipse, which we're about to talk about, at 2 o'clock in the morning, reality ceased to exist. The resonance of the Earth stopped for 1 hour. Funny enough, on April Fool's Day, I woke up extremely late. What could be going on? Things are never as they appear to be. Collaboration White Rabbit by CERN. Alice in Wonderland's White Rabbit always holding a clock. Possibly the time. By now, y'all should be aware things are not the way we thought they were. Oh, behind me. Funny, right? United States space. Look at the X. Look at the X. Look at the X.
Weird.
This emblem has been around for a long time. I found this gem video by the Trumpet 333 gem. Anyways, what's going on? And what really is the Mandela effect? So does anyone explain to me why we ceased to exist?
That is weird, especially the solar eclipse X and the emblem there. What the crack is that? And that design is old. You can't predict that stuff.
What if the tower more than just a biblical story? The Tower of Babel is said to have been a massive tower built by the ancient Babylonians in an attempt to reach heavens. But could there be any truth to this tale? The story of the Tower of Babel can be found in the book of Genesis in the Bible. According to the text, the people of Babylon began to build a tower that would reach the heavens, displeased, and caused the people to speak different languages, making it impossible for them to communicate and complete the tower. The tower was then abandoned and never finished. While the biblical account may be seen as a myth or allegory, some researchers believe that the Tower of Babel may have been a real structure. The ancient city of Babylon, located in modern-day Iraq, was once home to some of the most advanced architecture and engineering of its time. The city was known for its ziggurats, massive stepped pyramids that were used as just temples. One theory suggests that the Tower of Babel may have been a ziggurat that was either never completed or was destroyed over time. What if the Tower of Babel...
Oh, what was that place called? Oh man, you're just blown apart, and you could see these pieces. They were giant pieces. Man, I wish I could remember the name of that place. I'll have to come back to that, but giant, huge pieces just blown aside. Super weird. I think if something like that were built, it would be destroyed, but who knows?
The Great Ziggurat, also known as the Ziggurat of Ur, is an ancient pyramid located in present-day Iraq. It was built in the city of Ur by the Sumerian king Ur in the 1st century BCE, and it was dedicated to the Sumerian moon god Nana. The ziggurat was constructed using bricks and bitumen, a sticky substance made from oil. It was a massive structure, with a base measuring approximately 64 meters on each side and a height of around 30 meters. The ziggurat was composed of 3 levels, with a central staircase leading to the top. The Great Ziggurat of Ur was first excavated by British archaeologist Leonard Woolley in the 1920s, and his team made a number of significant discoveries at the site. In addition to the ziggurat, Woolley's team also discovered a number of other important artifacts and structures at the site. These included a temple dedicated to the moon god Nana, as well as a large cemetery containing graves of both royalty and common people. Among the most famous discoveries made by Woolley at the site were the royal tombs of Ur, which contained an incredible array of artifacts, jewelry, weapons, pottery, and sculptures. The tombs were dated to the early dynastic period of Sumerian history, around 2500 BCE. However, we have come across several unsubstantiated reports that Woolley also uncovered a stargate, rain, and ordered the reconstruction of the ziggurat effort to promote Iraqi nationalism and to emphasize Iraq's ancient history. In the 1980s, a massive restoration project was launched to rebuild the ziggurat using modern materials. It is rumored that Saddam also uncovered ancient Anunnaki technology from the ziggurat and possibly a stargate, keeping the eye. So, where does this leave us? Saddam Hussein allegedly discovered ancient Anunnaki technology and possibly a stargate inside the Great Ziggurat. In 1998, a UFO allegedly crashes out of Baghdad and Saddam recovers technology and possibly makes contact and forms an alliance with extraterrestrial beings. The US learns of this as well as the possibility of Anunnaki returning to Earth via the Stargate and subsequently invades Iraq. After removing Saddam and recovering the Stargate, the TessaTNT to the United States.
Wow.
What do you think happened?
Makes a lot of sense to me, because why else have we ever gone to war? It's never because these guys are being mean to these guys, or these guys are taking advantage of these guys. It's always because there's something that we want. Something we want. Is it oil? Is it titanium? Is it a Stargate? Is it rare minerals and such? Like over in, they're rich in mineral stores, etc. Like the richest country ever in these different minerals and things that we can use. War is ugly. I wish we didn't have it.
What was this tower? So this tower wasn't all unique in the ancient world, apart from its scope and its size. It was massive. But if you go to that region of the world, Mesopotamia, what you ziggurats all over the place. They've uncovered 18 different ziggurats in cities throughout that region. And what ziggurat means, it comes from an Akkadian word. It's like when we think of tower, it's not the tower that up and down. They're ziggurats, which are like artificial mountains. They're stage or stepped pyramids. And they were used as sacred places where the priest or the king would climb up to the top and be close to the heavens. And then he would get a message from the gods that then he would bring back down to the people. That was kind of the idea of them. And so that is what the tower was supposed to accomplish.
What was this tower even?
So this tower wasn't all that unique in the ancient world, apart from its scope and its size. It was massive. But if you go to that region of the world, Mesopotamia, what you find is there's ziggurats all over the place. They've uncovered 18 different ziggurats in cities throughout that region. And what ziggurat means, it comes from an Akkadian word. It's like when we think of tower, it's not the tower that goes straight up and down. There's ziggurats, which are mountains. They're stage or stepped pyramids. And they were used as sacred places where the priest or the king would climb up to the top and be close to the heavens. And then he would get a message from the gods that then he would bring back down to the people. That was kind of the idea of them. And so that is what the tower was accomplished. So this tower wasn't.
So that reminds me of, I believe it's in Mexico. But they have this place where there's these towers or ziggurats or pyramids or whatever you want to call them across from each other. And there's an open space all throughout. And if you climb to the top of this, your voice can be heard as if you're right in front of the person. It's the coolest thing I've ever, as far as amphitheaters or voice projection. Like, how does this work? It's pretty interesting when I saw it. Very intriguing.
China found dinosaurs on this mysterious island. In 2023, China sent an expedition consisting of 15 explorers and researchers to explore an uncharted island that they recently discovered. Officially, it was reported as a mission to lay claim to other lands, but unofficially, it was rumored that China had found dinosaurs on that island. 4 crew members that were on the expedition reported back that they had found 2 new species of dinosaurs, but immediately retracted their statement and were never heard from again, while another crew member, now labeled as a psychiatric patient, just much more out there that we don't know. It's been long speculated that the Earth is larger than we're told, and with Japan recently discovering 7,000 new islands within their territory, maybe it's not a stretch that China found dinosaurs.
Isn't that weird? Oh, there's so many different theories, like the world is flat. We're on the inside ring of this world, and things are being kept from us on the outside. I don't know. It's very strange to really think of. And supposedly, like, there's maps of this. Oh, I'm going back to Tartaria. Did you know the Great Wall of China was not built by China? It was built by the people on the other side, which used to be Tartaria. But we have no semblance or no education about that. We've never heard about it in our educational system. It's been hidden from us like so many other things.
On this mystery, is there something going on underneath Antarctica? Deep in the depths of Antarctica, there have been rumors floating around about a mysterious giant hole that exists as the entrance to another world. Well, you see, in the 1960s, an American aviator was flying solo in hopes of exploring a land beyond Antarctica when he encountered this hole hesitation, he dived into the void, only to find a hidden civilization thriving beneath the planet's crust. This civilization was not only thriving, but in comparison, was advanced in more ways than one. However, when he returned to share his story, he was quickly disavowed by the FBI, and his testimony soon became a legend that slowly vanished from public perception. Even though his original journal documents in detail his trip down the hole,
You can't be talking about that stuff. The government will make sure that you're either loony or you die or, yeah, there's so many different variations. You're never to talk about stuff that you have found or seen, including UFOs and paranormal things. That's pretty sad.
and you can watch the full video by clicking on the link in the description below. Many people are still asking the question, is there something going on underneath Antarctica? What is hiding beneath Mount Shasta? In 1904, a man by the name of J.C. prospecting for gold at Mount Shasta when he discovered a mysterious cave. He followed the empty tunnel for 11 miles, and at the end of it, he found a lost city with hieroglyphics written all over the walls. As he went deeper into the city, he found a chamber with 27 tombs, which had skeletons in them, except that the skeletons were over 10 feet tall. He hid the entrance to the city and kept the information to himself. However, he obsessed over it in secret. And finally, after 30 years, he put together a team of 80 people to go back and explore the city. However, on the day the expedition was supposed to begin, J.C. Brown vanished and was never seen or heard from again. So, did J.C. Brown stumble on a secret that someone was trying to hide? And what is hiding beneath?
That's crazy because so many of these things, as far as giants, etc., are so, oh man, just thought Smithsonian, like getting so many secrets from us, different scripts and relics, things like that, that were supposedly burned, were not burned, they were taken and then hidden under the Vatican. So the Vatican and the Smithsonian are two places that are hiding a wealth of knowledge from us, which is more than all the wealth as far as monetary in the world.
What exactly did this? On the 7th of August, at approximately 9:37 p.m., this photo was taken from a cruise ship and shared on Facebook, showing a large structure that appeared to be rising out of the ocean. According to the user who posted it, his cruise set sail from the port of Lisbon around 5 p.m. into the Atlantic, and as he was winding down for the evening, trying to look for dolphins on his balcony, port side, when he spotted this structure. Some have suggested that this is a ghost ship in the distance, or a mirage, or even Atlantis rising from the depths. But till this date, no one knows. What exactly is the government hiding an entire civilization from us? The Tartarians were said to be a civilization unlocking, allowing the Tartarians to advance exponentially. As citizens were allowed to express their creativity freely, without the stress of work, leading to many great inventions and grand architecture. However, a powerful organization that can sell of energy already invested heavily into energy production and lobbied against Tartaria as free energy, will essentially take all the control that they had. This organization toward Tartaria apart our history books, making like Tartaria never existed. But if you look carefully, the evidence of Tartaria is still there, in old maps, in architecture around the world that seem to advance. Places like the Taj Mahal, the Great China, or even the pyramids in Egypt looked way too advanced to have been built by the respective nations, but collectively, all have similar themes in their design, similar themes, harvesting energy. So, is the government hiding?
Also, a thing about pyramid. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat today. Jeez, I can't catch it. Anyways, as far as the pyramids, and this could be speculation as well, that the pyramids were built before the Egyptians were even there. The Egyptians found the pyramid and then made use of them. Could be true. Who are we to say? We don't know. We didn't live back then.
This is the one website you don't want. Paradise123.com has been known to give users strange encounters, and no one can explain. When you visit the website, you will be greeted by a black screen with one question. Do you want to go to paradise? Upon clicking on it, 2 doors will appear on your screen, prompting you to pick the correct door to move on to the next game. No one has been able to pick the right door. And what's peculiar is that users who played the game have said that upon selecting an option, a face will pop up in the corner of your screen, and that face stays with them and haunts them in their dreams. Till this day, no one knows who the creator is, the purpose of this site. But this is the one website.
Weird. If you do go to Paradise 123, let me know. And let us know what happened. Because I'd like to hear what is up with that.
Where is the Holy Grail? Made from and gold, as documented in ancient Egyptian scrolls, the Holy Grail was said to be the cup in which Jesus drank for supper. What makes it interesting is that this cup was said to have been later used by Joseph of Arimathea to catch Jesus' blood as he was getting crucified. However, subsequently the Grail was never seen or heard of again. Well, legend has it that because blood, drinking directly from the Grail, was said to be the key to immortality. Throughout the years, many people from kings to archaeologists have been trying to locate the Grail, to harness its power, but no one has ever been successful, making people wonder if the Holy Grail even exists at all. But it's still on everyone's mind. Where is the Holy Grail?
I like how some of these TikToks just go in a circle. I don't know, like some people have said the Holy Grail is actually the Holy Word. The Holy Grail is actually Christ's lineage because supposedly he had married and had a daughter, and the daughter was taken from Israel, etc., and taken somewhere else far away so she would be safe. I don't know. Holy Grail could be a number of things. Who are we to say?
This end-time Bible prophecy is being fulfilled. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 18, the Bible talks about signs of the second coming of Jesus, with one being, I will make rivers flow on barren heights and springs within the valleys. I will turn the dead into pools of water and the parched ground into springs. Well, you see, as impossible as it may sound, this river just exploded out of nowhere in the Middle Eastern desert, fulfilling the 2,500-year-old prophecy right in front of our eyes. And even though many people don't believe in the Bible, maybe we should all start taking the seriously. Bible.
And like, you don't have to be a religious person to read the Bible. Like, it's a very interesting book. Scary, interesting, and then some people think it's lore, some people think it's reality. I think it's real, but I think have been things that have been omitted and things that have been added due to the will of man. I'd like to see the actual full scale of the Holy Bible and be able to read.
Stargates, humans have with the possibility of alternate universes and a way to instantaneously travel between this one and the next. The term Stargate means just that, an otherworldly or portal to outside realms, hidden within Earth's and space's magnetic fields. Even NASA has admitted to having spent researching access points to places outside our world, our universe, even beyond space and time as we know it. Have we found any real Stargates? Some believe we have. In the city of Anuradhapura in Sri Lanka possesses an ancient chart-like carving, which has in recent memory taken supernatural and investigative communities by storm. Some believe that the Anuradhapura Gateway is actually a Stargate, a portal which humans could use to traverse the larger universe. Scientists have discovered a Stargate hidden in an old temple in Sri Lanka. Some people even think the US and Britain used the pretext of weapons of mass and alleged connections and Al-Qaeda to invade Iraq in 2003, topple Saddam, and secure the portal for themselves. The supposed star located under one of Iraq's ancient Zit temples. Do you think Stargates are real? Stargates.
I think anything. And it's funny that Hollywood, whether it be like TV series, movies, etc., has been mainly run by the government since the very beginning. And showing us stuff that really exists that they deny exists. So it's like, why are they showing us this stuff that they don't want us to know if they don't want us to know it? But I did enjoy the Stargate series and the movie. It's just very interesting. Like, where do they come up with this stuff? Yes, imagination is a very deep in place, but it's so hard to tell anymore. Is this AI? To me, like, even though I believe anything's possible, that just strikes me as AI. Where's the expressions or excitement or whatever as they're filming this?
A series of remarkable stone structures were discovered in a remote local world. These amazing art of stone stargates captivated the imagination of archaeologists, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Carved with intricate patterns and symbols, their true purpose remained shrouded in mystery. Ancient folklore, however, spoke of these stargates as devices by civilizations from distant solar systems to travel across the cosmos. By the 1950s, almost all the stargates had vanished without a trace. Government cover-ups and hidden agendas. Some governments around the world systematically confiscated the stargates and concealed them in top-secret facilities. Their whereabouts remain unknown.
There are 12 major stargates, and when I ran taken over before, built over, tested on, some have remained in ship, but these are the 12 towers that talk to each other through the ley line system of the Earth. These stargates are entry points into other dimensions and also power centers to be able to power Earth. Don't worry, the powers of be already know about these, so it's that we know about them. Number 1, the South Pole. Interesting that access is denied a lot there. Number 2, Florida, Sarasota, Cloud Gate. Bermuda. Well, we know a lot of thing that. And it's all part of the world. The Great Giza in Egypt. 5. Number 6, Moscow, Russia. 7. Number 8, Xi'an, China. Number 9, Tibet took over. I wonder why. Number 10, Abadan, Iran. Lots of war. I wonder why. I'm missing. Number 11, the Vale of Sea in England, the White Horse. And number 12, Montségur in France. There are 12 major.
Very interesting. All right, so let's see. I guess on that note there, boys and girls, we're going to go to our first music break. We have Miss Mia Savage with her band Mad Savages singing Lemurian Crypto, Let Me Be Your Home, Our New Reality, and Your Skeleton. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this music break.
Take me to your leader. It's no pain here. It's no pain my language, not a big no. Can you read my crypto? Take me to your leader, be alone. Please take me out. Here, you speak my language, not if you know. Can you read my crypto? Take me to your leader, or leave me alone. Please take me out. Breathing in the water, drowning in the air. Breathing in the water, there is no time. It's not language. No, can you read my crypto? Take over the leaders, real you speak my language, it's not a thing. Read my crypto. Take me to your leader. There is no here. Don't cry, baby. You don't need all the shit that he brings anymore. You're mine. You're mine. In a sea of broken hearts, won't let you fall apart. We'll make a brand new start. I wanna take a anymore. You're mine. Come with me to a new galaxy. You don't need all the shit that he brings. You're mine. You're mine.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for the second hour. Is Late Night in the Rockies. I feel so freaking bad due to my StreamYard shenanigans. I was unable to notice that my speaker didn't have its sound on, so yeah, how about that? Just making sure my sound is working here. Looks like it's working. If my mic's too hot, let me know. Let me just go over here and be it better. All right. I apologize again, Spreaker. You guys have been here for a very long time. Really let you go. Man, really makes me feel like a doofus. For sure. All right, checking everything. All right, so let's get back to our TikToks. And if we do run out of TikTok tonight, I'll be really surprised. But if we do, we'll look up some things that we've been talking between scenes. So let's get on with it with this here lovely lady. Yep, we already did her. Let's move on to the next one.
I asked artificial intelligence to show me a Stargate. I asked artificial intelligence to Stargate.
Stargate real. The gates in another.
Okay, so that reminds me of a few things. So we've seen things that are like dark, and I think those may be bugs. Some people have said birds, but I think they're bugs, or they could could be smoke. And then as far as this video goes, it reminds me of there was in a hotel room, or it could have just been his bedroom, that was working on basically time travel, but not like going from where he was to Moab. It was through this portal or gate or whatever you want to call it. Then after this had happened, nobody ever heard from him again. So it makes me wonder if it's really true that he was able to unlock that. That would be interesting.
Early 1900s, a series of remarkable stone structures were discovered in remote locations around the world. These amazing artifacts, known as stone stargates, captivated the imagination of archaeologists, historians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Carved with intricate patterns and symbols, their true purpose for making. Ancient folklore, however, spoke of the stargates used by civilizations from distant solar systems across the country. By the 1950s, almost all the stargates had vanished without a trace, fueling rumors of hidden agendas. Some theorized that governments around the world systematically confiscated the stargates and concealed them in top-secret facilities. Their whereabouts remain unknown. In the early 1900s,
My fear of the sunrise. When I wake up with your headlight on, hard to say morning when it's full with goodbye. Our eyes find all right, but I'm not ready to say goodbye. Oh, I swore on sight, good inside, say
What exactly is a new Earth Stargate? What? Those were three different things for those of you on this that but it was publications of stargates, powerful places in the world, and 12 other new Earths. Like what? I don't even know what's going on with that. But that is by I Am Earth 1111.
These portals seem like they link our world to another universe. It seems like the military knows about them. Could this be alien technology left behind? These portals seem like they link our world to another universe. It seems like the military knows about them. Could this be alien technology left behind?
I wouldn't believe the stuff I have in my vault. I mean, parts of ETs and parts.
We gotta take a visit. Where are the aliens?
We have captured that through electronic warfare systems.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's several thousand species. There's a facility out in the desert near Tombstone, Arizona, called Fort Huachuca. Army intelligence headquarters. I've been out there. I've known a couple of the intelligence, and there's a dome out there, deep underground military base, and ET craft, and I knew guys who worked in 9 different craft, and they're from different civilizations. So, you know, there are all these stereotypes of this. You know, it's like the big bug-eyed thing. But that's not what it is. That's just all the caricatures that, you know, idiots. But when I started this project in 1990, it was really for people to do what's called close encounters of the fifth kind, which is when humans initiate the contact. Within a couple of years, we had 4 of these ET craft pop in, involved.
That just the faces he makes, but I didn't even know there he was talking and they call them duns, deep underground. It's pretty interesting.
There's an object orbiting the planet, which was detected in the late 1800s by Nikola Tesla first. He picked up a signal from it. It is giving off a signal that has been decoded as being this constellation. About that is it's giving the location of the constellation where it was sky, 18,000. It's like a type 1, type 2 civilization that in Epsilon, it was changing its own orbits. It was in the first equatorial orbit, polar orbit. This thing is under intelligent control. It's about 15,000 tons. And so what happened was the United States saw it up there, Russia saw it up there. Russia, we both said, wait a minute, we can't launch nothing like this. We don't even have the kind of technology. They're afraid to touch it. They're afraid to know if it's going to have a defense mechanism. When Sputnik was launched in 1964, it followed Sputnik to the moon. So they really started looking at this thing and analyzing it. And we got a chance personal missions actually on the space agency servers. This is real crazy. This is
So I don't know if you guys have heard of this. They call it the Black Knight. Some people call it that. I had no idea that Ted is on of this. I know he was sending frequencies and such to know that he was receiving them. I know some of the BS-ery that the government has told us, because you know how they are. It's like parents lying to their children. But it was a space blanket that actually came out of one of the, and they just haven't been able to catch it again. But yes, because if it's been up there since the late 1800s or even farther back than that, what the heck is that?
when you take all the temples that are around the pyramid and the other two pyramids that are next to it, and you look at it from the sky looking down, and you connect them, you get an inner planet system of our solar system. You get the sun in the middle, you get Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. So you get the interplanetary solar system from Giza looking straight down. What's incredible is an interplanetary solar map, and you overlay it on that diagram, it matches down to the millimeter. NASA around back then, the Great Pyramid, over 2 million, and nobody realized that they're all different 2 million blocks. All, each individual stone is totally different. The mud ramp theory, which is you need more mass than the Great Pyramid in mud to have the mud ramps. Now you have to move mass than the 2 billion blocks.
That was made by mankind. I think it's possible that it was alien technology. I know that our little buddy there, Lee Skolman, that built the colossal, actually was uneducated, like he was self-educated, and he figured out how people or humans did this with sound frequencies and different metals, etc., etc. He was able to build a coral castle not once, but twice by himself. So that's giants. I do believe giants exist. I don't know. Like he's more mud ramps to build this than it would to make the actual pyramid. So I don't know. Things are actually clearing up. Things are starting to make sense as far as a lot of these things go.
We know of 69 different
69 different species, different life forms. There's one species that at full adulthood is about half. There's another 10 or 12 feet that people often refer to are around 3 to 4 feet, 39 inches or so tall. Very good drawn who've been on the retrieval teams of what these various species look like. And they keep coming back. Number one, it's not a coincidence that the modern era of all started detonating. What Edward Teller and Oppenheimer didn't understand when they were developing that is that when you detonate an atomic bomb, you get, everybody knows about an electromagnetic pulse, the pulse that goes out at all electronic communication. Well, there's also a pulse of what's called scalar energy, and scalar is faster than the speed.
So apparently we know of 69 different aliens.
Discovered in Florida. What? breaking news. It's so new. Oh, that is. To me, it looks like computer generated stuff.
I actually have a picture of two ATs. So this is one, and he
Tiny little head.
very triangular shaped head, almost like a beak-like face. We have another one up in the Joshua Tree National Park. I don't know, 15 years. An actually levitating out in the desert in our circle. So yeah, we have a lot of unusual material. About 30 witnesses to this. This photograph was taken with a really good Nikon camera by David Marconi, who concluded, number one, we're not alone in the universe, and number two, making contact with them, right? Not the State Department or UN. So we started a project, the CE5 contact program. And we know that the technologies they have are what are known as trans-dimensional technologies. Crack the Rosetta Stone of contact with these civilizations, which we have. So that ended up being, I actually have a picture of two ATs.
Puts the forehead, and the shaman taught him a sound frequency said with symbols. Jerry has shared it with me and has asked me never ever to repeat it. If Jerry got his forehead and did this chanting of this frequency, he would literally disappear and would go to another dimension, the dimension of where the God, and hopefully come back.
I was going to ask, can you come back?
His wife is 100 away. She is watching the entire scene. Gets down on his knees. He leans forward with his forehead. He puts it in the rock. Many, many times he says this frequency. She sees him disappear, literally. He goes to a white place. It's like a laboratory. It has a hard floor. And then this male voice comes and starts talking to him. What happens next, Jerry? We can at least share his words.
Said that I was on another world, that it was inside my universe. So I wanted to understand how that's possible. And he says, well, there are many universes, and you have just passed from yours into ours. All right, so where is this? He said, it wouldn't do me any good to even try to explain it to you. I asked how. Well, apparently, whoever they are had been very curious about the nature of the universe. They tried to recreate the universe. He was talking about how they were colliding particles, and somehow a spark had occurred, and the spark didn't go. Instead, it started growing. And as it grew, it started accumulating more of itself on its own. It was quite large, and they had created another universe. They weren't planning on doing this. Evolved. And it evolved. And I said, well, I don't understand this, because we think the universe is billions and billions of years old. He says, well, where you measure time, much different. Time is different in every universe. When he was telling me about it, they were really very afraid that it was going to continue growing and just overwhelm them. And that what they had discovered is that they were inside of someone else, just like we were inside of. He says it's just layers and layers that separates. And they had learned that life had started to populate throughout that universe. They were fascinated by this. curious as can be how this was possible. And this doorway that I'd gone through was something that they had put in place. They had doorways throughout our universe in various places, sending signs there to the universe, because this was a whole new realm of science for them to explore. Started discovering life in there. Pretty shocked. Apparently, it had ever come through that doorway. And apparently, these doorways are placed as well as to other planets. The only thing that I can figure is that moving from one point to another side, the dynamic of time, that doorways are instantaneous passageways to other places.
How did he know how to make these tones or to make these tones? Uh-oh. What is happening? Sound. All right.
Puts the forehead in.
Oh, guess there's no sound to this? Let me see if I can zoom in and see if there is. And it's just, yeah, it's just muted. Let me turn that up. Oh, it says sound isn't available. Well, I don't like that because the heat chair is just really, he lost his family. This is talking about his experience or his encounter with aliens and alien abduction, and how after that they were so because they didn't want to get abducted too. So he basically lost his family.
I know multiple, literally saved him. What they don't know is that there's a longitudinal wave that is faster than the speed of the fabric and communication and propulsion guidance systems of extraterrestrial vehicles. This is why they came in huge force in the 40s and 50s. This creates an existential threat for the whole planet, that we have people who don't understand it. The people who do understand are weaponizing those systems. Secrecy surrounding UFOs is a threat to national security. I mean, there are huge implications for this mistake made. We know what they are, where they come from, which ones are man-made and which ones are extraterrestrial. In this deep, dark secrecy, there are threats to life on Earth. That's what's happening. I know of multiple devices that would literally save humanity. And what they don't know is that
there's so many things that Tesla came up with, so many things that many different people that government agencies or people have bought or stolen and hidden away because they don't want us to know about it. They want to get rich. They want the almighty dollar, etc. So, that's more important, the destruction of our planet and our race, basically.
Motion. Victor Schauberger, an Austrian forester, naturalist, and inventor, spent a significant portion of his life studying the dynamics of water flow and natural. Born in 1885, Schauberger's observations of the natural world led him to develop theories and inventions that many have since associated with the concept of perpetuum, a principle proposing a machine or system that can operate indefinitely without an external source of energy. It's crucial to note, however, that Schauberger himself never claimed to have developed perpetual motion machines. Instead, his focus was on understanding and utilizing the natural power of the Earth, particularly vortices in water flow, which he believed could be harnessed for beneficial purposes. Schauberger's approach rooted in his observation. He believed that modern technology engineering ignored the harmonious principles found in natural systems, which, according to him, could lead to energy generation without the cost of environmental degradation. Famous aphorism, "Understand nature, then copy nature," reflects more of his philosophy. Schauberger water, when allowed to flow in a vortex, could create its own energy through implosion, a concept that stood in contrast to the explosion-based technologies like combustions, which dominate human technology. One of Schauberger's most notable contributions was his research into vortex dynamics. He observed that water in rivers and streams naturally follows a meandering spiral path, and posited that this motion is essential for maintaining the water's vitality and energy. By mimicking these patterns, several tended to produce energy or propulsion. His repulsion, for example, was a saucer-shaped machine designed to generate propulsion through a series of specially designed wave-like patterns that would create a vortex or water. This captured the imagination of many, leading to speculation that Schauberger had unlocked the secrets of perpetual free energy. His work attracted the attention of during World War II. Accounts burst into developing for military use, an experience that reportedly left him disillusioned and wary of the potential misuse of his discoveries. After the war, Schauberger continued his research. His inventions never achieved the commercial success or scientific recognition he hoped for. The controversy surrounding Schauberger's work intensified. He was taken into custody of intelligence agents and held for 9 months. During this period, all of his documents and prototypes were confiscated, and he was interrogated about his activities during the war. This episode has fueled speculation suggesting that Schauberger's innovations using natural energies were of such potential that they were considered a threat to the established scientific, economic, and political order, leading to their U.S. government.
See, somebody's got to get on this and come back out with this. I don't know, 9 months in prison, then stealing his. It's just like Tesla. He had, well, many crates full of different prototypes, etc. And then all that was left was, I think, 4 or 8. Not as much as he had before. Freaking government took it.
That the alkalines of our follow regular grammar and have set rules like our languages. So human languages did not appear coincidentally, but are a reflection of parent DNA. Dr. Lee Bartell, a professor emeritus of music and health and music education, is a leading researcher and expert on how our cells are affected by sound. He explores how sound can stimulate cells in your body and brain to reduce the impact of fibromyalgia pain, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and depression, and even increase blood flow. A common consumer vibroacoustic device is used to treat these health conditions. Researchers found that they could document brain cells firing at the frequency of the stimulus. They use a stimulus to bring brain states, like delta sleep, which measures about that the
Wouldn't that piss off the pharmaceutical company if you used this? They wouldn't be making their money. Neither would the doctors that prescribe it to you.
If you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. I'm not trying to sell you on this idea in the sense of converting you to it. I want you to play with it. I want you to think of its possibilities. I'm not trying to prove it. I'm just putting it forward as a possibility of life to think about. So, let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would, naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. Now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. Finally, you would dream the dream that you were actually. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have. Playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politics, but God in the sense of being the self, down, basic, whatever there is, for all that. Only you're pretending you're not.
Put that in there just because I thought it was very inspirational and pretty interesting to imagine if you could dream what you want to dream, and 75 years of that per night for how. Those of you that are just listening, that was by Mr. Alan Watts.
Simple energy manipulation. 1. Finding energy in your hands. Sit or stand in a comfortable position, and take a few deep breaths. Relax. Close your eyes and focus your attention on your hands. Rub your hands together vigorously for a few seconds to generate. Slowly separate your hands while keeping your palms facing each other, closer and far, observing any sensations you feel. Try to perceive warmth, tingling, pulsating, or a magnetic-like pull. Don't worry if you don't feel anything at first. It can take time to develop this sensation. Rubbing hands together. Sit and relax. Rub your palms together briskly for about 30 seconds. As you rub, focus on the sensations in your hands. Noticing that arises, slowly move your hands apart while keeping the palms facing each other. Maintaining your focus on the energy sensations, continue to move your hands closer together and farther apart, experimenting changes in the sensations as you do so. 3. Synergy flow between objects. Choose 2 objects, such as 2 stones, crystals, or even your hands. Object in each hand, feeling their texture and weight. Close deep breaths, and relax your body into the objects in your hands and imagine energy in them as their senses. Energy flow as a subtle current or connection. Pay attention to any sensations or changes you experience or the objects. Experiment with different ways of holding the objects or adjusting their perceived variations in the energy flow. As you become more familiar with energy manipulation, you may have a deeper sensitivity and connection to the subtle energies around you. 3 methods.
That's pretty cool. In the they were talking about like put your hands together and rub them together till you feel the heat. I would imagine a ball of light and bigger until the ball of protective light that surrounds me. I learned that from my mentor Kat, but this is pretty interesting as well. this is energy manipulation. Again, refer who this person is. Showing how they manipulate. You can see this.
How about Brian? It's been very interesting listening to my colleagues. But you know, and I am far from experiments as you can imagine. But that's why experiments.
Which means you're a theorist. Yes.
Something like that.
Okay. It's code for I'm a theorist.
I'm a theorist. Exactly. But my point is that it is always the case that it is our mental colleagues that prevent us from forming a religion, because it is always grounded in what they can measure, as coming back to. And so express either enthusiasm or dismay about where we are at a given point in time. I think that we need to be a little bit more humble and to understand that the process that we engage in flight from fantasy about what happened, and we query nature for that. Query goes through experiment. So although this has probably been very entertaining for, I think that at the end of the day, we have to keep grounded in about things that affect your life. Things are measurable things.
So where has this?
Oh my God!
Where have you landed?
Why would you ask that?
I'm asking that. It's New York City. It's Jim, have you gone beyond that?
How about Brian? Well, you know, it's been very interesting sitting on the stage and listening to my colleagues. But you know, and I am far from experimental physicists, as you can imagine. But this is why experiment.
Which means you're a theorist. Yes.
How to mentally control the energy field. The journey to mentally control the energy field all starts with the recognition that your thoughts hold immense power. They are the architects of your reality, shaping the world around you in ways both profound. In the words of the great philosopher Lao Tzu, your thoughts, they become your words. What become your actions? Watch your actions, they become your habits. What habits? They become your. Watch your character or destiny. Indeed, every thought you entertain sends ripples throughout the energy field, influencing the course of events that may not always be immediately apparent. Master alchemist blending various elements. We must learn to harness the power of our thoughts and emotions to transmute the energy around us. To begin cultivating mastery over the energy field, start by becoming aware of your thoughts. Observe them without judgment, like clouds passing through the sky. Notice the patterns and tendencies that arise, and gently redirect your thoughts that align tensions. One powerful technique for harnessing the creative power of your magnetic visualization. Magnetic visualization is a practice that involves mentally and manifest desired outcomes and experience by of imagination and in actively shape and of magnetic energy within and around you, thereby influencing your reality on a profound level. To practice magnetic visualization, begin by a quiet space where you can relax close your eyes and take several deep breaths to center yourself and quiet your mind. Then, envision yourself surrounded by a luminous magnetic field, pulsating energy and vitality. You can take a few moments each day to visualize yourself surrounded by a vibrant aura of light, radiating positive to all beings. See yourself in your grace and feel the joy and fulfillment that comes with manifesting your desires. How to roll.
That's allowing it to propel. And then you could figure out how to manipulate that how.
Take the frequency of the earth and find opposite tone to it. Wrap your ship in there.
And how fast could this thing go?
You decouple from the earth. You move at, what's the earth moving? at miles an hour or so. Takes 24 hours for it to get around. You know, how quickly is our solar systems? Yeah, whatever that tone, whatever that frequency is, whatever that speed is, you decrease them. Now the solar system moves away from you.
So in that sense, you could move it and not force.
No, nothing whatsoever. And that's what the linchpin or the angles of incidence allows, because now we can decouple from these 6 relative positions.
So when we feel about G force, like we've ever flown in a fighter jet before,
Yeah.
you feel those insane G forces. What the resistance of the Earth itself,
of the Earth,
of the spin of the Earth itself,
of our centripetal place where we are with the. Remember, the Earth is spinning. The solar system is spinning and acting a force. The galaxy is spinning and acting on it.
So
and
there's
now the
all
planet
these forces
is pushing
down.
in. So if you decouple from them,
then you have you through, and you can essentially travel instantaneously to anywhere if you have the right frequency.
The right frequency. It's all frequency. It's all frequency.
That's allowing it to propel. And then you could figure out how to manipulate that how.
Take the frequency of the Earth.
The Emerald Tablets of Thoth are said to be about 6,000 to 38,000 years old.
Right.
As I started going into text,
I'd like to really read up on these emerald tablets. They seem very interesting.
I started realizing a lot of epiphanies, not only with the metaphysical and spiritual context of it, but also I started realizing and noticing technology, quantum physics, and general sciences and so forth. I was like, this is really, really amazing. So I started asking a few people, have they read them? And some had, and I started asking for deeper questions to see how much they gleaned from it. They gleaned enough that I thought so. So I continued to go through them, and I said, wow, the world needs to hear what's in these tablets. So I decided to write a book called Compendium of the Emeralds. Is the breaking down both tablets, which are included inside the actual book itself as well. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth are said to be about 36,000 to 38,000 years old.
Right.
As I started going through this ancient text, I started realizing a lot of epiphanies, not only with the metaphysical and spiritual context of it, but also I started realizing and noticing quantum physics and so forth. This is really, really amazing. So I started asking a few people, have they read them? And some had, and I started asking questions to see how much they from it. They gleaned enough that I thought I saw. So I continued to go through them more and more. And I said, the world needs to hear what's in these tablets. So I decided to write a book called
Pretty awesome. These guys are just coming up and figuring out some really amazing stuff. Like I said, I want to check out the Emerald Tab, see what I can find, and reading the compendium that he's written to simplify it. So I don't know if I the Emerald Tablets first, then read this, or then read his book first and then read the Emerald Tablets. Anyways, on that note, boys and girls, we are going to go to our second music break. On this music break, we have Miss Mia Savage with Bury Me in Heaven, Not a Phase, Singing to Your Grave. And the bottom line, go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
Until I found you, I thought the same. Friends letter.
I've been talking to you, baby. Singing to your fascination.
There's a choice right now between fear and love.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for being tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. First 2 hours, we were going over some pretty crazy TikToks. Now we're going to do some Reddit stories. It's funny, I was looking these up on break, and then all of a sudden my nose started bleeding. I'm like, what the heck is happening? But I was able to track down some pretty cool stories for you guys. Let me just double check my Spreaker is. I lost those guys the first hour. All right, we're good. I apologize again. I'm so sorry, Spreaker peeps. This one is by u/Henry Jack 1427. Pair encounters. So this is kind of long, but I'll make it short as possible. There were many different experiences in my last home. I bought the house when I was around 10. There was always an uneasy feeling throughout the house. 3 brothers, 2 of which lived with us for a while. They are both older by at least 8 years. The older brother that stayed with us temporarily in the living room floor had a mattress with his daughter. One night he woke up and saw a little girl run through the living room and through the door that goes to the garage. He chased her at first sight, thinking it was his daughter, but turned around and she was still asleep. Brother claimed that he had seen the chairs in the sunroom move by themselves and would often get locked out of the main house while he was in the sunroom playing instruments. My cousin stayed with us for a time and slept in my room. I was too scared to sleep in there and would sleep on my mom's floor. He ran in the room freaking out and woke us up before he ran outside after claiming the bedroom window. Nothing was out there. What? While claiming he heard a little girl screaming outside the bedroom window. Nothing was out there. My brother's friend stayed the weekend once and was sleeping on the living room couch one night. And left during the middle of the night to walk home during the middle of December with no shirt or shoes after saying something was trying to suffocate him in his sleep. As for myself, I finally attempted to sleep in my own bedroom one night, and as I tried to sleep, I heard a penny drop in my closet, and then seen a ring slide across the bedroom floor. I ran to wake my mama and made her take us to a hotel night. My mom ended up getting married and we moved out for a little bit. The marriage didn't work. We ended up moving back, but after a few years of this, my girlfriend stayed with us and I had my mom have a new bedroom built inside the garage because I was not sleeping in my old room. One night, it was just me and my girlfriend. She had to go to the other side of the house to use the bathroom. Walking back, she claims she heard a little girl saying she's going to turn over. So she ran back to our bedroom in the garage, and when she was shutting the garage door behind her, she felt being yanked against her pool. Also, when I was younger, my mother says I raised up and sleep and started speaking in a language she's never ever heard. We no longer live there and never plan on going back. Creepy. I'm excited about this one because I've had paranormal experiences while in the Marine Corps. And this is by u/Glo travels the world. No, Geo travels the world. Sorry, it doesn't look like an L, but it's actually an I. While in the Marine Corps. So this takes us back in 2005, while serving at the U.S. Embassy in the Ivory Coast of West Africa. One morning, after working my night shift with the embassy, I returned home to the Marine House. The U.S. Marines lived in a local paid for by the U.S. Embassy. It was a 3-story home in what locals would consider an upscale neighborhood by Ivorian standards. The home was fairly large and had a pool, gym, laundry room, and driver's room on the first floor. U.S. Marines that were tasked with protecting the U.S. Embassy and its personnel. One morning I was pretty tired. I had just arrived in country and was still getting used to work. Lots of Red Bulls. I walked up to my room that was on the 3rd story of the house. It was a relatively medium-sized room with a bathroom attached and one large window in the bedroom that was fitted with heavy curtains to keep the daylight out during the day so we could... I was crashing hard Red Bulls. I managed to take my uniform off and get straight into... It wasn't to reach that state of mind where you're half asleep and half awake. Where I started dreaming when some sort of sixth sense told me, you have to wake up. I remember opening my eyes and staring at the opposite wall at the foot of my bed. The room was dark, and I was still half asleep as I scanned from left side of the room to the right. I recall my eyes concentrating on the daylight that was shooting down the side of the wall towards the corner room. As my eye reached the right far corner, I stopped at a spot in the corner of the room. Didn't make out what it was, but the long abrupt before hitting the room. In that spot, I read the silhouette of a person. It was tall and the outline of shed. My first instinct was dreaming, but after a few seconds, my vision cleared up, and the silhouette was still. As I focused harder on it, I realized it wasn't disappearing, and the realization that something was standing there hit me. It had a quick flash of, what the F is that? When all of a sudden, this shadow figure with red eyes, see clearly now, rushed forward looking me. Still to this, I remember the grip it had from the flash of heat from the back of my neck, all the way down to my feet. I closed my eyes and was paralyzed, couldn't move. The level of fear that struck me was immense. About 10 seconds, I felt this grip letting go, and as soon as I could move, action was to reach for my K-bar knife, top of my nightstand. I quickly to stab whatever the fuck was in my room. The next couple seconds were me tearing my curtains open and clearing the room and restroom and repeating, what the fuck, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? My room was completely empty. Attack mode to quickly trying to myself. It was just a side effect. Vacation I was on. One of the cons of working in an African post was that they ordered us to take mefloquine, an anti-malaria medication by our commander. One of the side effects clearly stated was the possibility of night terrors. Regardless, I couldn't stay in that room. I ended up in the common area with the TV turned on. Fast forward to me, the Marines move out of that home and move a new embassy compound that had just constructed. We Marine decided to be night and watch The Exorcist of Emily Rose. Oh no. Creepy movie. When it I won and ran into Sam the butler. They got a butler at the crack. Cool lucky guys. Sammy was in charge of laundry and prepping our meals throughout the week. When he spent his time as a Catholic Catholic church. Having the movie fresh in my mind, I asked him, Sammy, if we got possessed by the devil, could you perform exorcism? Sammy, of course, sir. I do them quite often. Spirits here in quote, Diavor. Seriously, Sammy? Yes, sir. Many evil here. Would you bless our new house? Yes, of course, sir. This is a good home. Not like the old house that was a very bad house. Instantly, cold and explained. The old house was possessed by 3 demonic spirits. To tell me that one morning, while he was doing our laundry in the basement of our old home, he looked into the Marine Corps gym, 3 shadow figures with red eyes standing side by side in the corner of the room. He grabbed his crucifix and began to pray before they vanished. He then instructed me to speak with Joey, one of our Ivorian Marine drivers. I hauled ass to find Joey. Joey was a 49-year-old father of 8 who had worked for 18 years as the embassy Marine driver. Joey tells me one night after dropping off one of the Marines, he returned to the driver's room where he tried to get some sleep. He was awakened by something whispering him. When he opened his eyes, something grabbed him and started choking him. He said he swung his arms wildly, couldn't hit the thing that was choking. When it finally released him, he ran out of the driver's room to the armored suburban Marine vehicle and drove to the U.S. Embassy, where he remained the rest of the night. He never again stepped foot in the driver's room. He told me that sometime later, our owner accidentally dug up a juju box. That's not good. Juju, with bones and voodoo witchcraft trinkets inside. Apparently, somebody cursed the property according to him. As if the story couldn't get weirder, I headed inside the U.S. Embassy later that day with my buddy sergeant about some work. Our conversation turned to what I had just learned about our old house. Gunny had this look on his face. He reached up his logbooks and pulled out an incident report binder from a few years prior and pulled out a report where a former Marine at the post had reported an intruder in his room, choked him, and disappeared. He slept in the room that I slept in. The Marine was convinced it happened. To the point an official U.S. Embassy report had to be filed. Wow. That is pretty scary. You don't want to mess with that hoodoo or whatever it be. I'm trying to remember, like, over in Africa, is it called voodoo or is it called hoodoo? Or probably something African, but what does that translate to? I'm not quite sure. Alright, this one is by u/Violinetta. Couple of mildly spooky graveyard experiences happened today. One of Raven Reads and a couple of other YouTube creators and word readings of posts on this and similar Reddits. And I have personal experiences I want to eventually share to give back to this community in gratitude for hours of listening pleasure. But what finally prompted me to post was something pretty innocuous, but still pretty, and it just happened. Before setup, Mom and I have been trying to find out where my great-grandparents, paternal grandfather's parents, on my dad's side were buried. We knew the rough location of the cemetery, but because part of an active military base, we were always fly at your own risk, posted warnings everywhere. What? It turns out, as long as there aren't active maneuvers going on, they're actually pretty lax about visitors to the outskirts, especially if you're a local like us. So we drive onto the base from a back road and drive about a half a mile of the roughest dirt road we'd been on in ages before coming right up on the place. Peeking through the trees and the undergrowth along the roadside, and on pulling up, tells me to wait with the dog in the car while she goes and checks it out. With me being legally blind, she doesn't want me to step on a snake or anything, if it's as the surrounding backwood area was. So I'm sitting in the car with the dog, an older black and white terrier mix, sitting on the lap. There's no one around for miles, and the view ahead of us, about 10 feet out, is another tree line with growth. Still, the dog suddenly sits bolt upright. Her ears perk up, and she starts watching something. She slowly turns her head from left to right, as if she's watching someone casually stroll past the car. Now, as I mentioned, I'm getting legally blind, but I have some sight, and I didn't see one single thing. She doesn't react that way to animals, instead getting excited, sometimes barking if it's a bigger animal than her, but with people watch, just like she was doing now. This freaked me out a little, so I called Mom to ask her what she thought of the cemetery. She said, "I'm glad you called me because I found your great-grandparents' graves. Someone walking behind me just now. When I turned around, there was nobody there. I'm on my way back now." We were both a bit weirded out by now and decided to come back another day, now that we know where the cemetery is, and, like I said, not anything. But the combination of my dog watching thin air, hearing something almost after that, was enough spooky for one day. I have stories I'll share in the future, but this one being so fresh in my mind, I wanted to do a quick write-up while I'm still thinking about it. As I was writing this up, I actually read another eerily similar from a few years ago, different cemetery. I don't exactly know where this other cemetery was, just that it's about as off the beaten path, with an actual paved country road past it, due to it actually being across from our more modern country cemetery. Teenagers have called it the grave, as there's this easily 100-year-old oak tree whose roots have started to completely take over the nearby graves, sitting around the small grave markers. If I can find the pictures that I took when we visited, I'll edit this to add them. Anyway, as Mom and I were looking at some of these graves, I want to say they were from the mid to late 1800s, we suddenly realized that the dog gone. We looked around calling her name, but she wouldn't answer. I walked over to the car, and as I came around the other side, I found her to the entire old sim blocked from view of her. This dog may be old. She loves to run around in opens like this. Cemeteries have never bothered her before, but this one had her moping out in record time. A bit less spooky than what happened today, but I figured I'd mention it since it's precedent seeming to sense something. So, as she said, her was noping it. That just reminded me and the kids watched a scary movie a week or two ago. I'm going to say about 2 weeks ago, and it was called Nope. And if you guys haven't seen it, I recommend you do because it was pretty dang good. I liked it. It was funny, like, of course they noped, but it had pretty good humor and pretty good. I really liked it a lot. All right. I have a story. This is by you, TessaTNT. So one afternoon, at around 2 p.m. UK time, I was laying in my bed, just kidding, in my bed quilt, half on and half off. You know, one leg in and one leg out. They didn't put the out, I'm pretty sure. That's what they meant because it said, and one leg. Because it gets insanely hot inside my current flat. So I'm laying there with one headache. I'm schizophrenic and had a head injury 14 years ago, which is why my headaches. Anyways, I'm trying to get off when I feel something cold squeezing at my left ankle, and my leg got lifted off the bed, and I got left and dragged off the bed. Partner was put at her mom's for the day, and naturally got slightly scared and avoided being alone in the on end. After this occurrence, things went silent. Good things, and if something watching you in the loo, which I searched the flat top to bottom, trying to find something which would make a rational explanation. Unfortunately, nothing. So about 4 months go by. Nothing easy and so me and my partner in bed. I was awake on my phone, and she was sleeping. The time was 2:45 in the morning, UK time. My feet were on top of my quilt, and both ankles got pulled up. Down on the. I don't think it's a bad ghost. It just messes with me. Well, that's damn creepy enough, but. And then having schizophrenia on top of that can't make it any easier. And this one is you for Sativa Slayer 333, asking for help from my mom. My mom has been seeing a tall, dark figure in her room for over a year now. This started in the room. She would see it in the corner of her eye. She would be laying on her bed, wake up around 3:30-ish, put something sitting on the bed with her. She would feel the pressure of it and assume it was one of the kids or husband, and then turn and looks, and it's just a black figure sitting beside her. She noticed it. Then reached to her husband. She struggled to run, and then watched herself, like in third person, struggling to try and wake him up. After countless minutes, finally woke him up. That her voice sounded and screaming. The second this happened, it was at the foot of her bed around 3 p.m. again. The same thing besides the pulling pressure. This time, she just sat up and looked around the room. She doesn't ever watch any scary, so at that. Please, someone let me know what I can do. I'm kind of spiritual, so any suggestions will be appreciated. Please and thank you. I don't know. It kind of sounds like, and I hate to say this, but like paralysis, but to me it seems like an experience because not only is she seeing this figure, but she's seeing herself, right? And then also when you have this happen, it's hard to vocalize. I'm surprised. So I guess she was watching herself and all of a sudden she was like flung in the body to reach for her husband. I don't know. I need more details. That's in there. So hopefully somebody will help this person. It's so hard going through paranoia and not having help. From you, Constant, under original 925. Dead relative. This is my story, and I know for a fact that he wasn't about this. Excuse me. Now, I've heard 2 encounters about paranormal activity, but the one he told me a few days ago still haunts me every second. So around 30 years ago, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, and great relatives all lived together. However, my great-grandpa driving down from Musa. Quid? Huh. I don't know. QLD? To see her sister before she passed. Unexpectedly, she died of a heart attack while down there. The day that this paranormal encounter happened, Grandma and Grandpa went to Plaza. If you're in QLD Australia, you might know where that is. So any of my Aussie friends, let me know what QLD is, because I do not know. When they return home, my dad and grandpa see my great-grandma, who had passed on the couch reading a newspaper. But the thing is, she wasn't meant to be home for another few days, but they didn't know that. They brought it up with her. She broke the news and died earlier that morning. Could you imagine? What? Like they're all seeing the same entity or spirit at the same time? That's so crazy. The second story. This happened a few months ago, but it was about 12 to 1 a.m. in my hours in his office. However, something pulling his shirt. Thought that it was me, my brother, but he turned around and saw nothing. My dad told him, he told me what happened. He looked so shaken up from it. That is, I have to say, Leech. This is a response to their story. Something similar happened to my sister. My neighbor's son lived in their basement apartment while we were growing up. But he had since moved, and we hadn't seen him in years. One summer day, my sister mentioned that she had seen him while she was laying out on the roof to tan. They had a brief exchange, and he told her to be careful. When she told my dad, oh, sorry, I meant to press the up arrow. Am I pressing else? All right. Told my look. He hadn't told us, but the guy had apparently taken his life jumping in front of a train just days before. The neighbors said they hadn't seen him in months. Dad. And this is by You Traditional-Onion 129. If you're going to be an onion, be a traditional onion. This is called Another Spooky Ghost. News. I have bells on my doors. The one in the basement opened a few times harshly. If it weren't for the bells, I wouldn't have been known. And in between each one, I kept going down into the basement to check. I didn't see what the door this first time opened, just heard. And this was the last time I closed the door good. It happened again. The bells were creepy enough. Didn't open the quickly. No air currents strong enough. The hinges are minutes on the house. The handle turned and I watched it pull open. I closed it again. It happened again. I'm the pussy of the Holy Ghost. Why would you be scared of the Holy Ghost? Like, that's a good ghost. Are you a person? What's happening here? I'm confused, buddy. What is going on? What? By the way, when I went down the first time, I checked the whole basement, and I had a suspicion about our storage room / garage. The fan was on and turning. I'm glad it didn't turn back on like the damn doors. Gonna clean my room, but now this is all I can think about. Agreeable _score 7372 said, just go down and say out loud, thank you for opening the door. I'd like to stay closed for now. I know, but I really don't like it when people use, I don't know, chopped up language when I'm trying to read their stories. I don't know, it just doesn't sound good to me. It's hard to read. This one is by you, Dai3. Do you guys ever feel like you're not alone in your own home, even when everyone is home? Because I always feel like I'm being watched. I know my grandmother's house is known for creepy things, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes my grandmother creeps me out. One night, out of my room around 3 a.m., almost 4 a.m., and she was sitting next to her door, just staring at me, not saying anything. Her door. So many chills on my body. I always talked about how she would see black walk into my grandmother's room. Open the Not, but more than mother, my mother's ex-husband has said the same. I've also heard at 4 a.m. the boots walking in the hallway. Then stop like it's at my door in just silence. Guys, help. What do you think is going on? I honestly believe that my haunted, but not the normal haunt, only when it wants to come out and do things haunted. Like time haunted. Goodness gracious. I most definitely believe that the man with the boots, that's what I call him, is in my basement because me and my sister have heard him walk up the steps. And, man, I'm trying to do the up button, come on. Hold on. And my sister sleeps in the basement and hears him walking around. And one time, she said she heard her doorknob turn like someone was trying to open it. And that's why the door when she's sleeping. She's afraid of the basement, and everyone in my house is, but my grandmother. She's the only one who have a ghost. What do you guys think? I think this reminds me of my grandparents. Like, I know they knew what was going on, but they always denied it. It's very happening. Just go back to sleep. Stop laughing at me. Pretty Prickle said, my childhood home I grew up in was very strange. There I took a selfie and some pal sitting behind me. For example, I'd have so many nightmares and experience so many things there. Until one day I learned that if you don't acknowledge it, it won't be able to come to you. And it disappeared. Not with my partner, him, and the kids coming in through the door, just to find out no one was there. It's a phenomenon here in Nordic countries, apparently. It happens so many times that I'm used to it. So, no, you don't acknowledge it. The original writer says, the scary part, I always ignore it, but it's really strange. My sister has seen and heard things being in the bed. I rarely stay down there for long or sleep down there. It feels like you're being watched. Going to play my 360 in the basement with my sister till like 4 a.m. Even with her, we both still felt uncomfortable being down there. I find it interesting homes were low-key haunted. Ozzy said, I just commented on your other ghost, but I'd be happy to talk your experience and maybe we can come to some form of conclusion. I haunted objects and I've had people message about different things, so if you'd like to talk about your experience, feel free to message me. 93 said, me, my sister, and mother believe it has something to do with black magic. My great-grandmother used to do, and it may have followed my grandmother still to this day. All my different comments on this, but check it out. Read Reddit. Go and find Reddit Ghost Story or ooh, I'm glad I skipped because there was a lot of comments there, and you know how I feel about skinwalkers. So somebody is asking, have y'all skinwalkers? And so please tell me your story. Speaking, Skink said, I see them every time I about. Well, I was really looking forward to a skin story. Maybe next time we'll read Reddit skinwalker stories, because that is much, much different than a ghost. Q/side much said or wrote called Sweet Hollow Road. Sorry, I got stuck in the comments on the last story. When I was 16, I was really into scary movies. I had an urge to see or experience something scary. It was during I started researching haunted sites I could visit. Then one caught my attention, Hollow Road in Long Island. There are a bunch of popular urban legends linked to the site, and all of them with a creepy underpass bridge. A few of the stories speak about the violent deaths of children. One day, I cousin and brother, who were also ghosts, hollows. My cousins and My mom insisted on it's always good to bring an adult. When we got to the underpass, we found nothing. We didn't see anything out of the ordinary. The only scary thing we experienced at the site was that, due to the thin zigzag-like road, we almost crashed into a tree. We thought that the trip was a waste, but then something strange happened. The next morning, my mom swore that like something was watching her under her bed. Out watching her or looking through a bed. On the other hand, the rest of us had dreamt with black hair. He was pale. None of us could remember his face. I wonder if he was like one of those featureless ghosts. Those are so creepy. Not as creepy as the kids with black eyes, though. I got kids, they're crazy. Until this day, we still believe that Saul had to be one of the many children who had died at bridge. Dia3 said, "That is scary. Look, you may have took something home with you. Now that when you visit haunted places, come home to work backwards so you don't let the negative energy follow you inside." I don't know if it works, but it is scary to think about. 3. Along with cleansing and carrying protective stones, etc., maybe try walking in your door backwards. I've never tried that. It sounds like an old wives' tale, but I mean, they got a lot of good stuff going on. Alright, it took me all the way to the top. Come on, guys, work with me here. Ooh. This one is by you, Sever_membership once. I think I saw a ghost that looked like Slenderman. I swear, I'm not making that up. When I was just 9, I was playing hide and seek in a dark long hall with my cousins. We closed the lamps because it was scary, and we thought it was a good twist to the normal hide and seek to get adrenaline. Anyway, just suddenly, I what looked like a long and black man. No facial features. He was a little transparent. His face was so white. He was wearing a suit and he held a business bag too. He was walking to me, but seemed like he doesn't want me. He just wanted to walk past me. And I ran, and I don't remember what happened next, by the way. At that age that I even knew what Slenderman is. It's funny when you come across entities or whatnot. Like the last trip I took to Arkansas, staying at my sister's house alone because her had issues with his bike, so we had to go and get parts. And she left me there in her house, and I knew due to paranormal investigation that we did days earlier that there was a ghost in one of the back rooms. And while she was gone, he was just standing there in the doorway watching me. And he couldn't leave that room because he just stayed in there, and he had 2 little babies that looked like 2 little twin babies, or maybe they were 2 babies of the same age, because they were just wearing diapers. But I think he took their lives. I don't know. That's just what I came up with in this investigation. And then he dude, like, you can keep standing there staring at me like you don't scare me. And projected his face like right into my face, which freaked me out because had never seen anything like that before. And then once I got home, I was telling the peeps that watch me and go to the after party, which I don't offer anymore. I might try doing that. I called it the tall man because that's what he was. He was a tall man. My friend Robert from Australia said, you know, there is an entity called man. I was like, I didn't know that. That's just what I called him because that's what he was. So weird. I just heard a thunk out there and there's nobody home. Everybody's on Cortez. U/South Dakota. Share your experience. So, I co-host a podcast titled Midwest Spookcast, where I learn stories to share at the end. I also have my own YouTube channel. So I hope with stories you go over there and help her out, because I know how hard it is to keep people on as well as people, period. I've just been doing like creepy story time, etc. Like I've just been so busy. Spring that's turned into summer cleaning and then work and everything. I could just stay home and take care of stuff. I gotta work and make money. This is by you, Rainy. And that's two spellings. One's R-E-I and the other one's R-A-I. Exploding head syndrome, paranormal. Holy crap, I experienced this too. It's weird as having full consciousness and waking immediately after REM. Falling asleep are loud crashing noises, explosions, voices, etc. I've heard it's a sleep disorder called exploding head syndrome. The symptoms do not include visible hallucinations. Was this some sleep problem I had occurrences, set experiences? I went camping on March 2024 at 11 p.m. Woke up because some tent sounded like a mill from 8:30. He was banished something else outside of the tent. He also knew that it was me and my sister in the tent, and he said something along the lines, "I command you to leave these two girls alone. These girls are protected in the name of St. James." Immediately after this happened, my brother in the tent beside us woke up yelling about an animal yelping and stomping outside of his tent. That is weird. I should also mention that I have no idea who St. James was, and I have a very brief understanding of biblical story. The whole camping trip fished for hours and hours and caught nothing. Apparently, St. James, who caught no fish until to lower his net. February 20, I had COVID. I woke up in the middle of the night because someone was talking to me. It stood to the right of my bed to be the devil. Oh no. I had an encounter with that guy. A cloud/mist that was almost in the shape of a person, and it wasn't exactly visible, or something I felt. There were two cords attached to my body that it was holding. The blue cord was my soul cord, and the red cord was my physical body cord. It said, "Your time here is over." And cut the red one. Nothing happened, but when it was morning, I was convinced I had actually died or was in some sort of different realm of consciousness. Usually my family members would be home, but no one was there. None of my pets were in. When I walked outside, it seemed like nothing was living. I didn't see or hear any birds. There was no wind, and everything seemed artificial. Weird. This lasted for a few hours. And when I woke up, everything was normal. This whole thing was probably a fever dream. I was in 6th or 7th grade and had a nightmare, so I went to go sleep in my mom's bed. Surrounding her bed was a dresser with a mirror attached to it. Before I fell asleep, I saw someone on top of it, long dark hair, pale, dirty skin, wearing a white dress, and she was looking at me. She looked like every basic scary woman from the movies. I went under the covers and fell asleep. In spring 2023, I sleptwalked to the kitchen and tried to turn the second key, but it was a presence that I couldn't see, but it was there. Similar to the previous ones, it was a dark, misty, invisible cloud. I kept turning the light off every time I turned it on. I kept flipping the light on, kept flipping the switch off. I don't remember going back to bed, but I did. August 2023. I spent the night at my friend's house. I slept on the couch in her room and something was speaking to me. I opened my eyes and saw some sort of creature protruding through the ceiling. Unique. There wasn't anything imaginable or explainable. My family have heard footsteps in her house. And no one is there. Every time I sleep in her house, I have some sort of sleep experience. That reminds me, when I was on that break, when my nose started, there's something walking above me. We don't have a second story or an attic. And sometimes that happens when I'm in bed too. It freaks me out. I hate it. So at 3 to 3 on March 9th in June, my dad and I got our tarot cards read, and they turned evil, but then I felt the pressure on my physical body in the middle of my desk, so I woke up and saw something hovering above me. Not sure if it was positive or a woman. When I saw it, flew away through my... In 2024, I was sleeping over at the same friend's house, and it was very, very cold in my sleep. I woke up to two ladies in the foot of my bed. I sensed they were her ancestors or past family members. They were lecturing me for not getting closer to her body heat. Slept over at her house a week later, and a man's voice talking to me saying, "Back to back, it is bad." No idea what that meant. These are some of the many experiences I've had. As for the clashing in voices I hear, those happen almost night. Except the loud, just ignore those now, but sometimes when the voices are louder, I sit up to write down what they say. So first of all, I just want to thank you to all of my Spreaker listeners. Thank you so much for being on or listening to the show. I'm so sorry that I failed you, and I hope you come back next week until then and put up with me, because I really appreciate you. Like I said, I hope you're not too mad at me, because I didn't mean to not turn on the speaker. I even had it turned on before, but turned it off for the intro. StreamYard had to be, but anyways, I just had to say bye to those guys really quick. But as far as exploding heads, so what I've heard in the past, it's basically like someone shot your head off, like one shot you with a shotgun or something like that. You hear a really loud bang or gunshot or something that like makes you wake. You swear that you heard something really loud. I used to have that happen when it happened in a long time. Exploding head syndrome. So this girl or fella, I think this girl that was telling this last story, exploding head syndrome, I think you are gifted in some sort of way. So I think it's called clairvoyant, and so you can see and hear spirits. Has nothing to do with head syndrome. Sometimes you'll have dreams that relate to that, and you wake up to it still being there. Sometimes that's not being actually awake, you're still kind of sleeping. But no, I don't think that's exploding head syndrome. Anyways, for whoever's here, I know we have a Twitcher and we got a Facebooker right now. Thanks for coming in, hanging out with me. Like I said, we did our creepy TikToks for the first 2 hours, and then we did Reddit ghost stories, and that was pretty good. I really enjoyed that. Back this weekend to hang with me. Sure what we're doing next weekend, but I'll try to make an advertisement for it. I've been kind of off my game with all that stuff. But anyways, nighty night, love and light. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you same time, same crazy place.